Welcome to IDA's video channel. In this video, I'll show you how to add, move and delete structures in Profile View. I will start with a moving structure. If I zoom to Profile View, I will zoom to this location. If I select structure, there are two grip points, the rim elevation grip point and sump elevation grip point. If I want to move rim up and down, it has an impact on a symbol and symbol moves up and down. But what happens in 3D view? I will split the view into two viewports. Let me do that now, vertical viewports. On the left-hand side, I will have a plan. Let me zoom to the structure. I will switch to 3D view and I will display that structure. And on the right-hand side, I will display profile view. And what I'll do, I will move rim elevation up and down, and that has an impact on a 3D object. Now, if I move the object to the pipe outside top, the structure is very small. And if you want that, but if you want a symbol to be at the HGL surface, you can't do that. That's a Civil 3D limitation, unfortunately. But on the other hand, if you think about it, if there is a, let's say, air valve, there might be a chamber. So for the clash detection, you might want to see this object. If you want to move sump elevation, we call it sump elevation because, as I have already mentioned, is that we use the gravity network tab for the water networks. If I grab the sump, I can move it up and down. As you can see, it has an impact in a 3D view, but I cannot move it above pipe invert because structure cannot be above pipe invert. If I move the pipes down, let me do that, and if I select the structure, the sump adjusted automatically. As you can see, the rim stays where it was and the sump adjusts. If I grab the pipes and if I move them up, again where they were before, then let me select the structure and the sump grip point stays where it was. The reason is it depends on the settings under the structure properties. Let me undo. And what I'll do, I will change the settings under the structure properties. So I go to structure properties and then under the sump behavior, instead of using elevation, I will use a sump depth. It is set to 0. So it should keep always 0. So if I select those two pipes, both of them at once, and I grab them and move them to the profile, then I select the structure and you can clearly see that the sump depth is 0. And you can see it on the left-hand side as well. This is how to adjust the structure vertically. What if I want to move it horizontally? With the standard Civil 3D tools, you have no option to do that. You would need to do it in a plan, but sometimes you see in a profile the right place where you want to position your air valve or scour valve. You want to use highest point or lowest point or whatever. So for that, you can use the IDA's command, move structure, and then follow command line. It says select structure, then it says select a new location. I want it somewhere here, so it moves the structure to a new location. So this is how you can move structure horizontally in a profile view. However, you should be a bit careful, because what if you move the structure which is at the horizontal change in direction? Let me show you the plan on the left-hand side. I will go to plan and let me zoom to this location. If I move this structure, let's say I want to be at this lower point, for example. Let me do that. I go to move structure, I select structure, I specify new location, and you can see that the alignment didn't move. Unfortunately, in Civil 3D, there is no way to somehow link those objects together. So if you move horizontal change in direction, you must always adjust your alignment. And I have another issue here, so I need to go to edit alignment geometry, and I need to insert new point of intersection at this structure like that. So my network is adjusted. So again, if you move the structure at the horizontal change in direction, you must adjust the alignment as well. So this was about the moving structure. Let me show you how to insert structure. Let me go somewhere here, probably somewhere, let's say here, I want a new structure. With a standard Civil 3D, you would need to zoom to plan, find out where you are, and then you could insert structure. With IDAS, you can go to Insert Structure. Then you specify the type. I will use a junction, so I type J for junction. Make sure that you're working with a correct network and you're using the correct surface, your reference surface. And then you have an option to specify the cover, 0.8, or if you prefer, you can interpolate the structure depth from the current pipe. So it will calculate what's the depth and it will just insert structure. I will use the first option just to use the pipe cover. Let me click OK. Then I specify a location for a new structure, and new structure is created. What you see here, this is a hydraulic and energy grade line. If it's disturbing you during your design, then you may consider to turn it off. You can go to Layer Manager and then go to Water. Under the water filter, you can go to HGL, EGL and turn it off like that. And it looks much better. And what if I want to delete structure in Profile View? I can use a delete structure command. With a standard Civil 3D, if you just delete structure in Profile View, it doesn't delete it in Plan. We can actually run a test. Let me undo. And I will do it here at the beginning. And let me zoom it like that. So I select this structure and I press delete. And nothing happened in Plan. What happened is that Civil 3D tick that structure off. If I go to Pipe Networks, under the bulk water, this structure was just ticked off, and that's it. So the normal delete doesn't work. But if you want to delete structure, let me just zoom to that new structure. You can use the IDAS delete structure command, which works for Plan as well as for a profile. So let me select the structure, and then it says select pipe to keep. And if I zoom out, I've got a nice beautiful pipe. Sorry, I escaped and it jumped back, but I got a nice vertical alignment. The insert structure command only works if you have a pipes in your profile view. If you do not have any pipes and you try to insert structures, it won't work because it needs the levels from the pipes. Unfortunately, at this point, insert structure only works if you do have already pipes in your profile view. That's something we would like to look at. And finally, let me show you that you can also go to structure properties and you can adjust some values in the structure properties. If I go to structure properties, then there is an insertion rim elevation. You can also specify whether you want automatic surface adjustments. What it means that you can, if you set it to true, you can set whether it should be on a surface or not, or you can set it to false and you can move it up and down as you wish. And there is a sump elevation. And you can also specify if you prefer sump depth. When it comes to elevation, if you set the value above pipes, it won't update. If I go apply, it jumps back to original value, so it cannot go above. But those are the other options that you can use to adjust structures vertically.